afternoon, everybody. Today, the government of Libya announced the death of Muammar Gaddafi. This marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya. You have won your revolution, and now we will be a partner as you forge a future that provides dignity, freedom, and opportunity.
Came, we saw, he died.
قولوا له بل أنت زعيم عصابة المجرمين. قولوا له لقد مضى عهد الإذلال وولى زمن الخداع.
Assad will leave power.
Assad is standing in their way.
One of the oldest, one of the strongest alliances the world has ever.
An unofficial commitment to a global imperial agenda in place since September 11th, 2001.
I want to welcome His Majesty King Abdullah to the White House.
إذا علم أنه سيصل إلى هؤلاء وصولا جيدا بأمانة ودقة فلا شك إن شاء الله أنه جهاد في سبيل الله لأن ما قوى شوكة هؤلاء وأضعف شوكة هؤلاء مطلوب.
The UK are involved in creating the slush fund deal. The US, under two administrations, has behaved with complicity. Operation thrived by the logistics of a BAE slush fund, a deal that represented one of the biggest funding pools in history for global covert operations long ago, for months, to, quote, support all components of the revolution. However, this figure is merely a drop in the bucket in comparison to the yearly $500 billion channel of money flows to overall Salafists and Al-Qaeda-linked groupings from the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia. Military intervention by air, land, and sea in the event that Annan's plan proved to be a failure.
You know, sometimes the conversation here in the Beltway differs from the conversation international. Mr. Putin had to go into Syria not out of strength but out of weakness. And the notion that he put forward a plan and that somehow the international community sees that as viable because there's a vacuum there. I didn't see after he made that speech in the United Nations suddenly the 60-nation coalition that we have start lining up behind him. Iran and Assad make up Mr. Putin's coalition at the moment. The rest of the world makes up ours.
This is more of the prescription for how to deal with the world.
Truth. Yet, we ourselves fall short from attaining it, not for lack of access, but because of an unbroken fear that has obscured our vision. They stand as heroes, but in fact are our destroyers, operating behind the shadows of a grand scheme larger than the destruction they themselves conceive. The goal is imperial domination, and only few have risen against them. The goal is total control in a situation where their own cause.
I congratulate you on taking your place on the long gray line. But the world is changing with accelerating speed. This presents opportunity, but also new dangers. It will be your generation's task to respond to this new world. We meet here at a moment of testing for Europe and the United States, and for the international order that we have worked for generations to build.
We have seen their kind before. They are the heirs of all the murderous ideologies of the 20th century. Behind them is a cult of evil, which seeks to harm the innocent and thrives on human suffering. By sacrificing human life to serve their radical visions, by abandoning every value except the will to power, they follow in the path of fascism, Nazism, and totalitarianism. They stand against us because we stand in their way. They hate our freedoms, our freedom of speech, our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other. Freedom and fear are at war. The advance of human freedom, the great achievement of our time and the great hope of every time, now depends on us. This generation will lift the dark threat of violence from our people and our future. Every nation, in every region, now has a decision to make. Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Which is fulfilled through the forcing of the false prophecy of Islam's Mahdi. In looking to the characteristics of the first beast, which is the Antichrist, in the book of Revelation chapter 13 verse 4, we see that they herald the beast as one who's able to make wars. Of this speaking great things is also attributed to the biblical Antichrist, the first beast. In the book of Revelation chapter 13 verse 5 and verse 7 it says, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations." So we see a collaboration of all the world's languages, tongues, and nations, all of them. This is being engineered through the United Nations. But we see specifically the characteristic about him speaking great things and making war with the saints. And this is the attribute of the book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 21, the little horn. It says, "And I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them." We see the characteristics of the mouth speaking great things has continued to go forward as Obama has pushed forward with this war rhetoric. And we see that here in this clip. Horn in the book of Daniel. You see that in Daniel chapter 7 verse 11. It says, "I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame." This prideful arrogance of speaking great words will continue to manifest, and this war power will continue to go forward as you see that pride exalt itself against the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, which is fulfilling the biblical role of the Antichrist, fighting against the King of Kings, the Lord Jesus, on his return. We see in Revelation chapter 19 verse 19 it says, I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. This Antichrist will exalt himself and fight against the Lord Yeshua, the Lord Jesus, on his return.
And there followed another angel saying, "Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name."
Put your hand on the scanner.
What's it going to do to my hand?
It's a biometric scanner. It takes the money straight out of your account.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? Thank you so much for your help. We're actually just gonna go.
Well?
Oh my God, that person looks just like you.
Oh my God, he does look like me. That's me.
That's so weird.
Right, he's got my face. Same face. We're not from around here.
It says you live 5 blocks away.
Right.
Right here.
What?
Put your hand on the...
You're not in the system. Everybody's in the system.
Whoa, come on. Hey, buddy, just take your time, right?
The whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
Everything,
you sell.
everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one-world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people. That's their goal, that's their intention.